Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans, with your hosts, Russ Living Good and Jed Horton. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week. So keep it right here because the ThunderCast is on the loose. Thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. A little bit of a new look, a little bit of a new sound, and that is because the episodes that we do every week with Jed Horton and myself, that's going to be the new intro and this kind of new look that you see here. Only difference is I'm going to actually have Jed with me. Jed unfortunately has some things going on where he couldn't be here this week, but even though I don't like doing these by myself, the show must go on. We got a lot to talk about, so I went ahead and going to put out a show by myself. Probably tomorrow or the next day, KD and I are going to have our regular show, and it'll look the same, sound the same the way it usually does. But he and I got a lot to discuss, man. We had National Signing Day was this week. We had officially all the transfers named that came in. We got a lot to talk about with that. And the news that dropped about the deck on the Shoey, the north end zone, and kind of what that's going to look like, the details about it. So KD and I will be here to talk about that. But we got a lot to talk about on this show, and it's going to be just me, be a shorter show. I don't have anybody to talk about things with, and I don't want to bore you to death, which I know I'm going to do if I keep rattling on. I just want to say we're a proud member of the College Huddle here at the ThunderCast. You can go to thecollegehuddle.com and find very similar podcasts that we do and content on websites and all kinds of cool things on different athletic teams that we may play throughout all the different seasons. So go over to thecollegehuddle.com. Check it out for some other content. Make sure you're going to ThunderCast.Online and bookmarking that. This weekend there will be a big update to that. More to come on social media. We'll post about the updated articles. But with National Signing Day being official now and the transfers being official, we're going to have some updates to both of those articles. Make sure you're following KD over on Twitter at ThunderCast_pod. And you guys know, if you're already following KD, how much work he puts into that and all the content and the news that he drops all throughout the day. And finally, like, subscribe, get all those notifications over on YouTube, over on Apple, Spotify. If you're a listener and not a viewer on YouTube, just make sure you're hitting the like button, subscribing, and you'll get notified when we drop all of our new content. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to get a word from our sponsors at LeasureOliver.com. Leasure Oliver PLLC, that is, 304carwreck.com. So here we go. If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Find them at 304carwreck.com. Yeah, those guys have been with us since what I like to say is day zero. And if you've ever been in a wreck and had to navigate all the different things with that, getting a rental car, getting your car fixed, is your car totaled, paying hospital bills, did you have to take a ride in an ambulance to go there? Whose fault was it? Based on where you were at, things may play out differently with insurance. If you're a West Virginia driver that hit an Ohio driver in the state of Kentucky, things are different in that state and with different insurances. Make sure you're hitting our friends at Leasure Oliver PLLC, 304carwreck.com, and let them take care of you when you get hurt in a wreck. All right, so these are going to be kind of quick and simple, and I'm just going to go through and not a whole lot of discussion, but I've got to bring you our 5 things, and that is always brought to you by Ignite Link. So let's get right into it. And now, here are at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by Ignite Link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team. All right, that's usually when I would thank Jed for all he's done with Ignite Link and on this show. But you guys know where to find him. It's at Jed Horton, at Ignite Link over on Twitter. You can go to ignite.link. But thanks to them, we're going to bring you this week 7 things every herd fan needs to know this week. Number 1, Emma Vanderheyden named Sunbelt Women's Tennis Player of the Week. This was actually the week prior, right after we recorded our episode. That dropped. And number 2 is Sophia Hurion, named SBC Women's Tennis Player of the Week for this week. So let's talk about these just for a second here. And number 1, Emma Vanderheyden. Man, this tennis team, let's just talk about them both. This tennis team just beat Wake Forest. They're still undefeated. Wake Forest was a 4-3 victory. We're going to talk about that in Around the Herd. But week in, week out, we hear these same names in doubles and singles, and these two both have just been crushing it. Emma Vanderheyden, Sophia Hurion. It's one of these things that tennis is not a sport that, people go and watch a lot. I wish that we had a better setup, just like with swim and dive, that people knew where to go and they knew when to go there and they had a big crowd. But they have some loyal followers that go here and watch. It doesn't get the same ESPN Plus that men's basketball, women's basketball, even softball get. But our tennis team has been kicking butt, man. And Emma Vanderheyden, Sophia Hurion, when we get into Around the Herd, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they've been doing. But just absolutely killing it. You can see on the scroll, for those of you who are watching the show, number 1 is Emma Vanderheyden. Number 2, Sophia Hurion. Don't know how you like those things, but Jed and I are going to try this out, and it'll be a little bit easier when Jed's actually here. But we're going to be trying to scroll these things across the bottom if you're watching on YouTube, so you can keep track a little bit and see where we're at on what we're talking about. So I'm going to go on over to number 3, and it's Kylie Maston breaks the school's indoor mile record for women's track with a time of 4 minutes, 42.17 seconds. That is flat out booking it. She broke her own record. I think that right now she's got the 800 meter 3K and 1 mile maybe in the Sun Belt that she's leading all those. We talk about her every daggone week on here. As we just talked, it used to be Abby Herring, and then you would also hear about Kylie Maston. Well, now, Abby's graduated, and it's just all Kylie all the time with track and field. And again, we've got a lot more from the track and field stuff in Around the Herd. Kylie Maston is one of those that might be coming up on some of those Abby Herring records. I know she's broken a couple, but like that, breaking a record is the record. I think you're going to hear quite a bit more from her. We've got the Sunbelt Conference championships coming up, and she's got to be a favorite in, like I said, at least 3 of those events. She's currently leading right now. Number 4 is another of the week. Marshall's just been slaying this too. It's swim and dive. And Grace Kelsheimer named Sunbelt Diver of the Week. That just came out earlier today. And she won both 3 meter and 1 meter. Not the first time she's done that this year. 3 meter and 1 meter dives. And she had both zone qualifying scores, NCAA zone qualifying scores. Big deal. Even bigger deal, this is her 7th of the week. She's won 7 Diver of the Week awards this year. If she is not a shoe-in for Diver of the Year in the Sun Belt Conference, I don't know who is. But it's pretty much if somebody else gets it, Grace didn't dive that week. But there's more. As you see here going across the bottom, swim and dive set an absolute slew of pool records, school records, and Sunbelt Conference records this week. We're going to start off with Ksenia Lunyashina. She has the 100-meter backstroke. She set a school and a Sunbelt Conference record, 53.16 seconds. Keep in mind, this is our freshman phenom. And in the 200-meter backstroke, she set a pool record at Marshall, 1 minute, 58.61 seconds. So if you're not familiar, pool record is only at Marshall. It could be an opposing diver or an opposing swimmer has that record, but it was set here at the Fitch. But the school record would be either here at the Fitch or anywhere on the road. And of course, the conference record is just you're in the conference. It doesn't matter where you were at. Lauren McNamara in the 200-meter butterfly set a pool and school record, 2 minutes, 0.15 seconds. Molly Warner in the 400-meter individual medley set a pool record, 4 minutes, 22.17 seconds. And Grace Kelsheimer, that we just mentioned, in the 1-meter dive, she had a pool record of 310.50 points. Swim and dive, as you're going to hear in Around the Herd, is just absolutely crushing it right now. And as you can see by the records that are falling, it's also happening at a very good time as we get ready to head into the Sun Belt Conference Championships that are coming up very soon. All right. And also with swim and dive, they have been named the CSCAA Scholar All-America team for the fall semester with a 3.77 GPA. Now, you can go look this up and see where they fit nationally. They're very high, but in the Sun Belt, they are far and away leading everybody from the fall semester. This is also their 12th consecutive semester of earning this Scholar All-America team award. We always say this. KD has this. He says that's a differentiator. Well, it is, because these athletes are coming here and they're getting it done in the pool and in the classroom, hitting the books. Parents love to hear that. It just shows you how hard these athletes are working, how hard the people over at the Buck Harless Center are working. Everybody is just killing it in swim and dive. They're killing it again in the pool, in the classroom. All right, we had some coaching news, and we have a new volleyball coach, and an assistant coach, Heather Stout, has been elevated to head coach now. So I think it was right around a year ago we announced it here that she had been hired on the coaching staff, and I erroneously assumed because it said that her uncle was an athlete here at Marshall, and hearing the last name Stout, I thought it was Juan Stout from football, who we've had the pleasure of meeting a few times in at tailgates at football games, and also talking to him quite a bit on Twitter, and every now and then hearing comments on the episodes. It was not. She's not the niece of Juan Stout, and I cannot remember who her uncle is, but there is a lineage here of herd connections, and Heather Stout is your new volleyball coach, and we wish her nothing but success to see if she can turn around the volleyball program, move that up into this next level, which it seems like a lot of our other Sunbelt Conference uh, teams have been doing. So, looking forward to her. We'll try to get her on the show soon and hear what she has to say about women's volleyball, but definitely as a um, preview for the upcoming season when that comes about. And finally, number 7, baseball is ranked 12th of 14 in the Sun Belt Conference coaches preseason poll. Not a lot of love there, but like we've said before on just said it on softball, let them underestimate us, man. Let us go in there and show them just how improved we are. Yeah, we didn't get a lot of love last year. We showed a lot of promise, but it seemed like we fell a little shy on pitching at times. You know, we would have a starter or two would put in some great performances, and then there was just fatigue in the rotation and in the bullpen later on in those series. And it seemed like we would be in on every game, and we would have like that big inning where we couldn't stop the bleeding. And it seems like when we're talking to Coach Bills, when we're hearing from the players, that seems to be something that we've kind of taken care of. You know, we've brought in some additional pitching. We've brought in a pretty good transfer class, and batting is up. Anytime we heard anybody talk about fall ball, they talked about the hitting. Anytime we've talked to anybody about this team whatsoever, they feel like they got better at a lot of positions, that they got better as a lineup, and they got better on the mound. So 12 out of 14, hey, underestimate us. The big news from here, though, Bryce Blevins, pitcher, named to the All Sun Belt Conference preseason team. He had an amazing year last year. He led, I believe, in ERA as a starter. Up there in strikeouts, had a 10 strikeout performance and an 11 strikeout performance. So looking forward to see what local, not here in Huntington, but just down in Lawrence County, Kentucky, seeing what Bryce Blevins is able to do as an encore for that great, great season that he had last year. And that does it for all of our 5 things this week, 7 things that every Herd fan needs to know this week, as always, brought to you by Ignite Link. And now we are going to take it around the herd. And forgive me as I'm here by myself doing this, but I've got another business to shout out. Layer One Solutions has stepped up and taken over our sponsorship for Around the Herd, and we're going to hear a little bit about that now. And now, Layer One Solutions, your experts in business connectivity infrastructure, takes you around the herd. All right, we are going to start off with track and field. They had some successes in the Penny Lowes Invitational in Louisville last weekend, and the Kylie Maston thing. That's where that happened that we talked about in the things. Rebecca Merritt had a top 3 finish in the weight throw. She had a 19.46 meter throw. It was her personal best and only one of 3 throws surpassing 19 meters at the meet. Let's see here. We had Grant Swider finish 4th in the long jump. We had Addison Painter in the long jump. He was down a little bit on where he was at. He finished 7th on this. You've heard about him breaking his own record. It was December and then back-to-back weeks in January. He had a leap of 7.01 meters. Hopefully he gets right back on track because, you know, he's leading. I think at one time he was 3rd in the nation. 7th in the nation the week after that. So hopefully he gets back on track. And we also had Alicia Rivera took home first in the high jump with 1.6 meters. Day 2 of that event, and let's see here, Kylie Maston broke that school record in the mile that we talked about earlier. Rebecca Merritt on her throws did pretty good. Laura Check, 4th in the elite long jump. And the women's 4x4 had a new season's best as well. So again, high jump, we had Ryan Mukhtar finished 4th, Evan Weeder 6th. In the in the mile, Kylie Maston again, she finished 5th overall at the event, but new school record. And thought there was one more here. Oh, yeah, here it is. The other personal bests: Brady Dawkins, Kazuma Bowring, Jalen Browning, Rebecca Merritt, Ryan Mukhtar, Donnie Spees, Azura Travis, Evan Weeder, Alasia Williams, McKenna Woodruff, and Hannah Weiler. Lots of personal bests. Big time event. This was against Louisville, a lot of other ACC talent, and we didn't bring home a lot of first place finishes, but when you're setting that many personal bests and you're going into the Sun Belt Conference championships that are coming up, that's huge. Swimming and diving. Speaking of huge, absolutely huge win over Georgia Southern, conference foe, 208-91. It was senior day. This was the very last before the Sun Belt Conference Championships meet that any of these were going to have. Let's see. The herd honored Kate Bulgarskaya, Jenna Bopp, Gabriel Ivy, Grace Kelsheimer, and Federica Savoya on senior day. And we talked about all those things in 5 things, but listen to these as well. First place, Ksenia Lunyashina, Paige Manton, Madeline Hart, Audrey West in the 400 meter medley relay. Second place, Lauren Ramsey, Maddie Aiken, Caddy Fisher, and Nina Nugent. The 1650 meter freestyle, Esther Laban took first in that. 200 meter freestyle, we didn't win first, but we got second, third, and fourth. Federica Savoya, Allison Dodd, Charlotte Thompson. 100 meter backstroke, Parker Lynch caught first. Second place, Kate Bulgarskaya. 100 meter breaststroke, first, second, and third in that. Paige Banton, Audrey West, Maddie Aiken. 200 meter butterfly, Lauren McNamara got first. Molly Warner got second. 50 meter freestyle, Ksenia Lunyashina, Madeline Hart, they got first and then third. Lorraine Cleveland Lungu got fourth, and Maya McBride got fifth. So first, third, fourth, and fifth in that event. 3 meter dive, we already told you about Grace Kelsheimer. She came in first. Second was someone from Ohio. We got third, Allie Humbert, and we got fifth, MJ Livia Guire. 100 meter freestyle, Nina Nugent came in second. Audrey West came in third. 200 meter backstroke, first place, Ksenia Lunyashina. Second place, Maya McBride. Third place, Kate Bulgarskaya. Fifth, Lauren Ramsey. If you can't tell, we killed it. 200 meter breaststroke, first, Paige Banton. 500 meter freestyle, first, Federica Savoya. Third, Charlotte Thompson. Fifth, Prislava Tosheva. 100 meter butterfly, first, Madeline Hart. Second, Lauren McNamara. 1 meter dive, again, Grace Kelsheimer setting that pull record, 310.50. Third came Allie Humbert, and fourth, MJ Levy Aguirre. 400 meter individual medley, Molly Warner first, Esther Laban second, Lauren McNamara third, Allison Dodd fifth, and finally 200 meter freestyle relay. Marshall came in first and third. Time of 1 minute 34.47 seconds for first place and 1 minute 37.11 seconds for third place. Killing it. Like I said, this was their last ever event before they are heading into swimming and diving. and Marshall has got to be the favorite to bring home not only the team trophy for the conference championship, but individually they have a lot of people that should be bringing home first place golds. Over to tennis, I said they beat Wake Forest 4-3 to remain undefeated on the season, and they ended up, man, they did not win the doubles points, so they were down 1-0. And then in the singles, we picked up victories from Johanna Strom, Emma Vanderhayden, Sophia Hurion, and Aisling McGrain, just enough to eke out that 4-3 victory. They are another team, like I said, just peaking right now, staying undefeated. They'll have some big opponents coming up. Old Dominion is, I think, the 4-time in a row championship team out of the Sun Belt Conference. Once it gets into conference play, you'd think, well, they're playing Wake Forest. Isn't that better? Yeah, Wake Forest is a really good team. But I don't know that they're ranked higher than Old Dominion. Old Dominion is highly ranked, both with some individuals and doubles players, but as a program as itself, they are real high. Women's golf, they're at the Columbia Classic Invite Saturday and Sunday. Softball, they are actually playing today. They're playing all weekend long. And when KD and I have our show that will be up either tomorrow or the next day, we're going to actually go over a little bit of that. So I don't want to go over too much today, but we're going to be able to talk about some hopeful victories that we had. I know that they face Southern Miss today. They have, I think it's Iowa and some other teams. I don't have it written down here that they'll be facing, I think, by the time that we'll be putting up our episode. But when we get that recorded, we'll hopefully be able to tell you a little bit about how the team was doing and everything. Women's basketball, they beat Georgia Southern on the road on Saturday, 71-65. They lost 92-88 last night at Louisiana, and man, was that heartbreaking because they were down, they came back, they made a huge run to come back. They took the lead. A player for Louisiana hit a fadeaway from the baseline three-pointer that eventually that was what sent us into overtime, 79-79. And Marshall, man, they were doing everything that they could, and they just ended up losing 92-88 in the last closing seconds. They are hosting Central Michigan Saturday at 1, and then they'll be hosting Old Dominion Wednesday at 6 p.m. And finally, men's basketball lost to Georgia State last Thursday, 85-81. Again, another heartbreaker. But talk about a bounce back. They played last night against Sunbelt Conference's number one team, Arkansas State, and they beat them 77-72. They were down by 6 going into the half, and they came out and they just said, you know what? We're going to play Marshall basketball the way you haven't seen us play all year long. They were killing it on the boards. They were killing it in the post. This was a physical game. They were forcing turnovers. They were fighting for the ball. All of a sudden, White Fricks just went off, three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer, and then he would make a good defensive play on the other end and go down and hit a three. Jalen Spear, Dzane Mingo, Nate Martin, Obina, just different times of the game, these players just stepped up and seemed to take it over. But as a team, they had, let's see, points off turnovers. You would think, I said, we forced a lot of turnovers. Marshall only had 9 points off turnovers, whereas Arkansas State had 19. Second chance points, though, Marshall, 20. Arkansas State, 8. Bench points, 12. That was pretty much all Wyatt Fricks, if I'm not mistaken. He had 1 point in the first half, 11 in the second half. Points in the paint, 32-26, Marshall. Fast break points, it was 11-9. We lost in that one. And here's the shooting, though. In the first half, 12 out of 37 for Marshall, 17 out of 28 in the second half, well over 50%. Free throws, 3 out of 4 in the first half, 9 out of 13, including some big free throws down the stretch. And three-pointers, we were just under 33%. 2 for 14 in the first half, not very good. 5 out of 9 in the second half. And again, a lot of those were those back-to-back-to-back Wyatt Fricks shots, but everybody picked up some good ones. Total rebounds, 42 for Marshall, 35 for Arkansas State. Offensively, we had 15 offensive boards, 7 blocks, 15 assists, and turnovers were 12-12. It's pretty evenly matched all around, but Marshall really impressed a lot of fans online that I saw, and it was great atmosphere at the game. Officially, they said 4,309, but I can tell you it was loud, from everybody. I wasn't able to go, but everyone that was, you could hear it on TV, but everyone that was at the game was commenting how electric the crowd got into it. Big opponent, and we stepped up. I've talked a lot about this game, but listen to the individual stats here, just going by the points alone. Nate Martin, 18 points, 14 rebounds, had a double-double. Michael Dawson, 15 points. Dzane Mingo had 14 points and 10 assists, double-double. Obina had 11 points, 4 blocks. Jalen Spear had 7 points, but, sometimes he played 39 minutes, and sometimes he seemed to, with only his 7 points, was still taking over the game at times, getting to the hoop. Wyatt Fricks, already told you, had 12 points. Just great team effort. Probably the best basketball they played all week or all year. Still have just a couple of those games. Remember, we had 3 losses in the Sun Belt Conference by a total of 6 points. So things could have been a lot different in those games. If we played like we did last night in those games, no question we would have been 3-0 in those 3 otherwise losses. And we would definitely be in first place. But right now we are tied for second. We're in a great spot. We can improve with this upcoming road trip that we're going on, 4 games in a row. And hopefully we can secure one of those top 4 spots and get it done in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. And that does it for Around the Herd. Thank you to Layer 1 for taking us around the herd. It's me by myself. I don't have anything to say. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. KD and I always say that without you, the viewer, without you, the listener, we're nobody but 2 idiots talking into a microphone. Well, today, I'm your lone idiot. I'm Russ Livinggood. We're the ThunderCast. Whether you see us at the Joan, whether you see us at the Jack, whether you see us at the Fitch, no matter where you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.